Today we're going to learn about prairie points. We're going to take a piece of fabric and measure it out so that you have a 4-inch by 9-inch rectangle. Now this can be adjusted after you get the method down. You can adjust the length and the width of this to adjust the size of your prairie points. Now here I'm just going to use a pencil and make a little pencil mark at the 4-inch mark, and use one of my metal rulers. And here is I'm using a T-square just to make sure everything's nice and square. So I'm measuring out the 9-inch mark, the 4-inch mark, and making sure that my fabric is nice and square. Everything intersects correctly, and make my marks. And at the center of your rectangular piece that you've just marked, you need to divide that right down the center. So I'm going to use my little ruler here, make sure that everything is nice and accurate before I make my mark. Let's go ahead and cut it out. We can proceed from there. So I'm just going to cut out my rectangle that I have already marked. We're going to take our little ruler, measure out 2 inches from the end, make sure that it's equal all the way, and mark it here. Now we're not going to mark on this side yet, we're just going to mark on one side first. We want to make sure that they're nice and square. Here we're going to mark again, just marking on the one side, not the other. And once we get to the very end, we're going to have 1 inch left over, and that we're going to cut off. So this rectangle over here we're going to go ahead and cut off. So I have a 2-inch square here, 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 and here. Now starting with alternating sides, here is the end that we're going to cut off. Here we're going to alternate kind of in a checkerboard pattern, making sure that that is 1 inch that we're going to cut off. And I'm going to continue on this side, measuring 2-inch squares again. So it's essentially dividing these right in half down the center. Measure down. And if you feel a little bit unsure about making your squares completely perfect, you can also use a quilter square too. Those work well. I'm going to cut off the rectangle here at the very end on my right, and the rectangle on the left. Now I'm going to turn the piece, cutting the squares only to that center point. So I'm just going to cut all the way till I reach that center mark right there. And do that all the way down. And so I take the corner that you see closest to you, fold it right in half, making a triangle, just like that, and keep on going all the way down the right hand side. You can use pins to hold it in place if you'd like, and then press. Now that you have completed the pressing of both sides, you're going to take those triangles and fold them one more time. Fold them towards the center. So I'm going to use some pins at this point to hold them in place. And so you're just taking the triangles that you've already pressed, folding them one more time, like so. And after you've completed this step, you need to add steam And after you add steam, and press all of these down like so, what you need to do is fold them in half over one another. And bring them to your sewing machine and sew. Down here. So I'm adding steam to all those. And then after my steam has been applied, I fold all of my prairie points over in half, like so. So every other one gets placed, they just get folded right on top of one another, like this. And after you have pressed this, you take it to your machine and you're going to sew it like so, right there, right along the edge. So when you apply something like this to the edge of a slipcover, a pillow, any item that you choose, the inside, which is going to be right here, it'll be nice and finished off. There won't be any raw edges. And if you stitch about 1/4 of an inch in from the edge, you won't see the stitch mark that you made to hold everything in place.